Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been 2 days and I have not finished the Int Future Gohan Easy A. I'm,
Oh
I
no,
know,
you are worse than you are worse.
I know,
I don't even.
I'm
Oh,
disappointed. I'm quite disappointed in myself.
literally the one person who you were raving
I
was gonna be
was
so, like, you were so excited.
I was excited. In my defense, I was at G's this weekend, and her house in Oakland is an internet dead spot. So like, I barely could play unless I was sitting out in the hall playing with cats. Which, granted, I did do a lot.
You still didn't.
Speaking of cats, today we what a great trans. I'm just so awesome, man. Today
Yeah.
we are continuing our trip through the Shrek universe, and we are talking about the first Puss in Boots, which I learned this morning is actually a prequel to all the Shrek movies. Like
Oh, is it?
yeah, it doesn't take place after Shrek 4. It takes place before Shrek 1.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I know. I was quite confused about it. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie. While I was watching the movie, I decided that the second one existing makes this one automatically better. Because
I think so
yeah,
too. Yeah.
allow me to elaborate a
Oh,
little bit. Oh shit! One sec. Sorry, I dropped. I swore
I,
before the 5 minute mark. This video is not going to be monetized.
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't. I don't. I personally don't really care that much. But um, So I went down to look at my notes, and the very first thing I have written is "Puss is a dog."
Yeah, he is.
That's not what I
But
meant to elaborate, but like the fact that they re came around to Kitty Softpaws, because I remember whenever I was younger, and this is gonna be the dumbest thing ever. One of the reasons why context I didn't like this movie whenever I was young, so whenever I went to go rewatch it, I didn't have very high expectations. And one of the reasons why I didn't like it was that Kitty Softpaws was not mentioned at all, like during the other stuff, and I felt like it would have been like necessary for that to have happened. But the second movie, bringing that back around and showing that he left her at the altar, that makes sense. You're not gonna talk about the girl that you leave at the altar, especially at a Shrek.
yeah, um, was it this movie? I went in thinking it was gonna be mid or below. I was stunned by how enthralled I was by this
Yeah, I know,
movie.
right? I was really shocked by it because like I this time around, because it was Puss who is the absolute goat. I expected the movie to be mid. I was expecting to leave it and be like, this is a 6. I had a fun time with it, but honestly, the story could have been a little bit better. But I really liked it. I thought the animation was a lot better than I expected it to be. I thought it was better than all of the Shrek
Ooh.
movies.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like why is this animation like feel like it's so far ahead of it, what was in Shrek 3?
Yeah, yeah,
I was like, if this
yeah.
movie is bad,
I was thinking the
then what is
exact
if
same
this
thing.
yeah. I was like, they had all of the power to make a Puss in Boots like movie like this, and then later on they went and made Shrek 3.
Wait,
Like,
didn't
did
this
they
come out after Shrek 3?
only I don't know. I think
This was
this
a
Puss in Boots was
2011
2012.
movie. Let me look up Shrek 3. Shrek 3 was 2007. So it makes sense that this movie looks better than Shrek
Oh,
3,
yeah.
but it shouldn't be that much of a step up. That's what I'm thinking. Cuz this
Yeah,
movie looks fantastic. My jaw hit the floor whenever Jill was shaving Jack. Like
yes.
you got to put it into perspective how crazy that is, because like they must have made like each of the different hair fibers like its own little, like I don't even know how to fucking describe it. That would have taken a lot of work just to do that like little scene there. And I'm like, man, people like Puss in Boots. I guess they really want to put
Yeah,
effort
no,
into
Puss in
this.
Boots is actually fantastic.
I think.
I'm
Sorry, go ahead.
I love how this movie opened up with him saying goodbye to a cat.
Yeah, man, that's what made me
And he
write
like
down
tells her,
Puss
he's
is
like,
a
I
dog.
think it was like it started with an M. Was it like Martha or something? He's like, oh, it's Rose or
Yeah,
something like that. He's like,
yeah,
my bad.
it was really funny. I quite enjoyed that, and that kind of that helps into the good writing of the movie. It leads into the romance subplot of what
I
of Kitty
really liked
Softpaws.
the story.
Me too, man.
It
So
was
I
actually
had two.
really good.
I only had two problems with the movie, but we'll
What
get
was
to
it?
those after we're talking about all the good stuff, because I think all
Uh,
the good stuff is much more important.
You know what I really liked?
What?
is
The
that
movie?
it showed Puss in Boots' soft side. His soft side
Yeah.
is for his mom, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
exactly. I like that.
Yeah,
I thought
he
it
does
was
not care
good.
about anybody else.
He got a little soft for
Nobody else.
Kitty Softpaws at the end of the movie, but like,
Yeah,
it was
but I
hard to
mean,
tell if
listen,
that was because he was in it for the girl or because he actually cared about her. But we learn in the second
I
movie it's
believe
because he cared
I
about
believe
her.
it was that. Yeah, yeah, like you find out. But I like how this one was like he was constantly like worried about what his like mom thought, and he's like, I can't go back, I
Mm-hmm.
can't go back, I
It's
can't go
good
back.
stuff. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and
I
then
quite enjoyed
I
that.
love how he got the boots and how he got
Yeah,
everything.
and it was
It
like an
was so
origin
good.
for how he was a what's the word for it? Vigilante. I really
Yeah,
enjoyed that because like he's a hero, but like people don't like him, and they did that such a good way of showing that like he's obviously being hunted after while also people are looking at him with praise. It was peak. It was good stuff. I really enjoyed it.
it was fantastic. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of called quote unquote the twist with Humpty being
Hmm.
like the villain, but I did not call Kitty Softpaws
I know
also
it's
being
sad.
in it and
It
then
was a
coming back
good
and
twist.
then it was.
Like I
Yeah,
felt like
I was like,
there was a
"Dude," I
very
was like,
obvious
where's
point in the
Kitty? What'd they
movie.
do with Kitty?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know,
like I
right?
was actually looking like, where's Kitty? And then she like picked up the egg, and I was like, no,
No. Yeah, sad stuff.
no.
It like
Yeah,
there is a point in the movie in which you're going to be able to tell like what might happen, but the way that the movie presents it to you, it's in a very like real and interesting way because the way I think it's all up to the voice actors in my opinion because Zach Galifianakis freaking killed it as the Eggman. Antonio Banderas obviously is like the goat as Puss. Skylar texted me during the movie and he was like, "I think that Antonio Banderas is one of the best voice actors of all time," and I was like, "Actually, facts." He kills it.
name somebody more iconic. If somebody
Goku.
texts you, "Fear me if you dare," you read it in his
Fear
voice.
me
It's
if you
not
dare.
normal. Yes, you read it as him.
Hey,
Or
it's me,
anytime you think of
Goku.
Puss, yeah,
Yeah, that's the
Goku.
only one that competes with him.
Yeah. Oh,
One
but
part that I
there were
found,
so many things I just loved about this movie.
I know, right?
I
Like
mean, for very obvious
it was
reasons.
shocking. It really was. Like I felt like I don't honestly know if the movie was better because I had low expectations or because the movie is genuinely like that
I
good.
think it might just be good.
I was starting to do. We talked about this a little bit earlier, but what my plan was, I'm gonna watch this movie while starting to work on my homework for the rest of the week. But like, maybe like 20 minutes into the movie, at the right at the scene whenever they started shaving, I started to put my homework down. But during the bar scene, whenever they were doing the dance, I was like, all right, close laptop. I need to watch this.
Yeah.
It was good
So that's
stuff.
what happened to me. I was also doing my homework for the week
Yeah.
while I was watching, and I had like 50 questions to do in an hour, but like it's just like I just gotta click them.
Hmm.
So it really shouldn't take me more than 30 minutes. I did not finish because I was watching Puss in Boots.
Obviously, it's just so
Yeah,
good.
like I actually was like, okay, I'm not getting any of this done. I'm just gonna do it after class.
Obviously, because Puss
And
in Boots is on. You can't ignore that.
I can't disrespect my boy.
One thing
I
I
think he's the
found
goat.
really funny is the detail that they put into. I gotta find it. Oh my god, I have so many pictures of just cats. I gotta find the one of Puss in Boots. That's a meme that I have of little baby Puss. I really enjoyed that whole entire. Okay, here it is. I got it. I got it. Do I have to lower my brightness or raise my brightness for it to be seen on camera?
Probably lower.
Okay. This is little Puss.
Yeah.
It says full of soup, but in
Yeah.
reality, if you know how cats work, whenever baby cats have big tummies, it's because they have worms. So that means little Puss has worms. I
He
thought
probably did.
that was a funny addition. I
Since he
really
was an
liked how he
orphan,
had
makes sense.
freaking deep voice even as a little baby.
Yeah, me too. I like how he didn't talk. He only said meows, and he's like, "See," like
See.
out of nowhere.
He knew what he was doing. He did that on purpose.
Yeah.
I
I
also
also really liked how much of a cat they made him in this one.
I
Like
did
he
enjoy
was so
that.
much more of a cat. Like, did you see in the well, you probably did, but
No, I did not.
in the scene with Kitty Softpaws, whenever they're trying to steal the beans, and
Mhm.
he gets scared and his hair puffs
Yeah,
out.
I really enjoyed that. I felt like so that happens a lot, like definitely in the second movie. But I feel like the reason why we didn't feel as though he was very cat-like in the Shrek movies was because he wasn't the main focus of the entire story. And
That's what I'm. I mean, he looked pretty cat-like in the fourth one, whenever he was fat and crawling down the side.
yeah, 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 he did. Speaking of Zuko, who is the cat that I showed you earlier, who looks exactly like Puss, he's getting pretty chunky. He's about to be Puss from movie
Good.
4. Just being honest, it is good.
Good. Remake the scene.
He bites me a lot. Um, why do my iPad just keeps telling me to undo marks, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. It'll get rid of my Puss in Boots stuff.
I don't know if this is like a hot take or not, but it genuinely feels as though Puss in Boots is on his own tier when it comes to Shrek characters.
You
Like
know,
I've never seen him. Even in Shrek 3, he was still like a redeeming character.
yeah. You know what? I think I agree with you. I think Puss is definitely the best Shrek character. And I really don't know if that's a controversial thing because I've
I don't know
never
if it is
ventured.
either, because he's even the star when it's not his movie.
True, that is so true.
He steals the shine. I don't know
I've
if
ne-
that's just me.
I've never looked into the Shrek community, so I don't know how people
I don't
feel
want to.
about. Yeah, no, I feel like that's a dangerous thing to step into. You don't know. That's where Shrek is love, Shrek is life comes into. So
Yeah.
between this and the next movie, I guess we'll talk about it more later. I feel like whoever makes this movie has a passionate love for Attack on Titan because both movies
I
had
think that
giants
too.
in it.
Giants, and they had a lot of swinging.
Yeah, exactly.
Like look like ODM gear. Like when even at
Mhm.
the end, whenever Puss was fighting the giant goose,
Mhm.
and he like swung up around to the side and then landed on top.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, wow, this is very Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Excuse me for a second while I look up who directed
Which
the
is
second
crazy.
Puss in Boots.
Attack on Titan, was that even a thing at
Yeah,
the
it definitely was.
time of these? Definitely.
I
Like
I
back
would
in
put
2011?
yes, I would put
Because
money on the
I know it
fact.
was around for a while.
It started whenever we were in middle school.
Oh.
I don't remember when that was though. So, damn man, freaking Puss in Boots 2 did not make that much money. That's so sad.
2000, you're right, 2009.
I'm so awesome.
Just whenever September, yeah. So, I mean, there's a good chance it did have a lot of influence
It probably did.
from
It definitely had influence in the new one. One thing I wrote
Oh,
down
yeah.
towards the end of the movie was this movie definitely was way too early for its time. Because, like,
I think so too. It feels
excuse me, sorry.
okay. I don't want to cut you off,
No,
but
go ahead.
it feels whenever I was watching this, I feel like I had just as much fun with this movie as Shrek 2, which
Okay.
is insane. I had as much fun. I'm not saying it's as good.
No, I know that it's
I'm not
it's
saying
such
it's
a
as good.
hard thing to compare it to. Like, I
It
was
is,
thinking,
'cause
I
Shrek
thought
2 is
about
like
that a couple
so
times.
good. I feel as though there were points in like Shrek 4 where I was like, eh. And with this one, I feel like I was
Yeah,
pretty like just stuck into it like the entire time.
I think this movie easily clears Shrek 1, 3, and 4.
I think so
A little
too.
bit of competition with Shrek 3 because that movie is pretty goated.
Yeah, Shrek 3 might be the best one in
Actually,
the sequel.
facts.
Yes.
But I really like the cat bar scene towards the beginning of the movie, and I really fucking like how he just smacked her with a guitar to end the fight. That was so funny to me for no
Did you
reason.
was it I think I saw some influence from Star Wars, because do you know how they have that one band playing in the back of the bar like the
Yeah.
entire time, and they had this band, a 3-person band playing in this bar the entire time?
I wouldn't be surprised because there's a lot of the things that the Shrek universe does is reference other forms of media and pop culture, and I noticed a
Yeah.
bunch of other stuff like the Bean Club thing is the reference to Fight Club, obviously.
Yeah.
And there I really felt I felt like specifically in this movie and in well actually Shrek 2, this movie, and Puss in Boots the Last Wish, all of the references are kind of like really subtle so that you wouldn't they don't take away from the story. They're not like, oh, do you see this? This is funny. You get this from somewhere else, but they just like flow naturally with the story, so it doesn't feel weird if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And I
they
think
don't focus on it. Like
exactly.
the thing, like the band was shown like twice.
Exactly, and I'm thinking of another one from we'll talk about it more when we go over it next week. But whenever what's his name, the main villain, no, not the main villain, the sub villain of Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, whenever he goes into the bag at the end of the movie, he puts his thumb down. It's a reference to Terminator 2. But we'll talk more about that movie when we get there, which will be next week. Did we do that review with Corey? No, we didn't.
No.
Okay.
All I know is I'm eating the next 2 weeks.
You are eating the next 2 weeks
with Puss in Boots, and then next week with Puss in Boots again, and then I don't even know what's after. But
we could do Scooby Doo after that. So
oh my goodness!
You can eat for 3 weeks in a row. Skylar's about to be really hyped.
Which one? We could do a week of Scooby Doo. We can do a couple weeks of Scooby Doo if you want.
How about in 2 weeks? So after Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, you take your 2 favorite Scooby-Doo movies, and then we talk about both of them for the entire episode.
Yeah, I'm eating. I'm eating. This is my month for Mediak.
Yeah, Skylar's a very happy guy right now. I really like Jack and Jill. I thought that their side plot was quite interesting, especially like one rule that we learned in screenwriting is like if something can happen, think about a way to make it a little bit more interesting, because it wasn't like they just were like kind of there and villains. They also had this little story going on between themselves about wanting to be parents, and I thought that was really interesting because it could have just been a boring they're sitting there silently or they're talking about how annoying Puss was or something like that. But they gave a little bit of more depth into Billy Bob Thornton and I forget the actress who plays Jill. Their characters. I thought it was really, really funny. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like that one. And then especially that it was Jack who brought it up and Jill was like, "Don't be dumb."
Yeah, it's
and,
a flip.
Like that.
Yeah, I think that moment was whenever I wrote down this movie was too early for its time, because I felt like it had a bunch of really, really creative ideas. And I was looking at the reviews of this movie, especially whenever it came out, and they were pretty like raving. They were good, but it just didn't make the amount of money, and that's why it took 11. That's why it took. It was either 11 or 12 years to make the second one, and I mean that's fine.
Was it? I like how they didn't just like say that like one time and then give up on that side plot. Like it was constantly like mentioned throughout. Like even at the end, whenever he had that other pig, he's like, I forget what he said, but he's like,
it's calling me daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I liked it.
It was like constantly on his mind.
Mm-hmm. It was a good way to flesh out the world a little bit more, and I really enjoyed the. I think, in all honesty, the melding of the storybook stuff is done best in the Puss in Boots movies. I think it's done absolutely perfectly, because it's not just like, hey, this is a storybook character. It's like, this is a storybook character, and it's crucial to the plot. And I think that is fantastic. And I really enjoy how they gave the lore of like the giants dying many years ago, and giving slightly more detail into the story of the egg. What is it supposed to be? Humpty Dumpty, yeah. It was good stuff. And Zach Galifianakis was a perfect casting for that role. He did a really, really
I think so too. I liked his voice.
Yeah, me too.
I really like how Humpty was this giant inventor, and then he was just obsessed with robbing.
Yeah, it was so smart.
And then Puss had his one moment where he became a hero, and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I realized like how much this town means to me. And Humpty's like, you betrayed me. And then he kind of like rotted in jail because he tricked Puss into robbing like a bank. Yeah. And then Puss left him there. But so I like that side plot that Humpty was like plotting revenge for this long, trying to collect everyone.
It was good. It was a good way to show detail into our main villain. But that does actually no. Before I get into stuff I don't like, I'm gonna say one more thing. I really enjoyed the detail and how beautiful the cloud thing was. I want to say Cloud Island, but it's more like, I don't know, just clouds in general. It just looked really pretty, and I really enjoyed it. It was super beautiful.
Also, the flow of water in that one, the water looked really good.
Yeah, and then oh my god, I really liked how it turned into clouds too. Whenever it popped out the end, everything about that was really fantastic.
That part was really, really nice looking. Yes. Especially for like what?
2011 this came out. Yeah, like what the heck, man?
12 years later, and there are very few scenes that match that.
I think that Puss in Boots. It's so weird because this Puss in Boots and the next Puss in Boots have such different art styles, but both of them are really fantastic. And it's kind of hard.
They flow together pretty decent.
Do they flow together? I actually think that they don't.
Really, you don't think like?
Well, the stories flow together. I don't think that the animation itself does, because this is like an upgrade of the previous Shrek formula, while the other one is more of like very heavily inspired by anime.
Ooh, I'll have to. Ooh, I didn't think of that, because like whenever you say heavily inspired by anime, obviously I think of the opening scene where he's fighting the.
Yeah, and they have the impact frames. It's just like the screens change colors according to what Puss is doing. And I honestly am really excited to rewatch the movie. This will be like the 5th or 6th time I've rewatched Puss in Boots.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I don't even know how many times I've watched it.
I don't even care, man. It's such a fucking good movie. I really would watch it a billion times.
The best investment of your life is giving me Puss in Boots. It will never
Super
be
fair.
watched more.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
I'm gonna keep that in mind whenever I watch the next one. See
Yeah,
that.
that was like one of the first things I noticed when watching the new one was like, oh wow, these guys, whoever animated this, really likes anime, and that's not a bad thing because
Well,
I'm a big
my
weeb.
like idea with it flowing together isn't the action scenes. It's the scene that came to my mind was whenever Kitty Softpaws and Puss were up in the tree.
Hmm.
That felt like it like genuinely could have been in that movie,
Yeah, it was a
and it
natural
would have like
progression from. Sorry, God, I
well,
didn't mean to
no,
cut
I
you off.
meant the art style. It
Oh, yeah, yeah,
right
yeah,
then and there, that like that animated sequence felt like it could have fit in that movie.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like I
super
feel like it's
fair.
certain specific parts of them. I know it so well. I could tell you exact scenes from that movie.
It. I think my opinion might change on that whenever I rewatch it. It's literally been like probably 10 years since I've seen this first movie, so I gotta really compare them together. So I'm really happy I'm watching the next one this week sometime. Oh, G will probably want to watch it with me too because she likes that movie. I mean, how could you not like that movie? It's so freaking good. Um, where was I gonna go with it? So I had a couple problems. One thing that's like super minor was whenever the terror was chasing after them for the very first time. I felt like it would have made more sense for them to have waited until it calmed down a little bit, like they did the other times, instead of just like making a sprint for it to the water. But that's like not that big of a deal because like it's whatever. They got the gold, they want to get out. The two big things that I thought of were why would um Humpty give the beans to Jack and Jill whenever they were working together, because I know that it was done so that Puss could join up, but Puss seemed just excited at the prospect of the fact that there were real magic beans. So I feel like if Humpty just showed up to him and was like, "Brother man, look at this," and then Puss was like, "Whoa, that's the thing," and then they would have gone into the thing. I don't know. That was just like something that came into my head at the end of the movie that was like, I understand why this happened, but I wish it was done with a little bit
I feel
differently.
like the reasoning was because he wanted Puss back on his side, and if they had a common goal to give back
Yeah, that's
to the
fair.
city, that like
Well,
obviously if he
he
just
could
had the
have done
beans,
that
he'd be
same
like, "Hey,
thing.
I've had the beans,"
I
but
guess,
like Puss would be
hmm,
like, "I don't care," like, and he would just left. He's
I,
like, because there was nothing for him to do. It was
I,
like, "Hey, we can use this to get back." He's like, "I don't trust you," and then
yeah,
leave.
I think you're right. It is definitely a trust thing because,
And
like,
I think it was to build trust with Puss in Boots,
yeah, that's
and he
fair.
knew he can get it back from them anytime because
Yeah,
he had a lot more people
right.
working for him than like Puss would have known.
Okay, good point. My next one is actually really dumb, but if you think about it a little bit, it makes a lot of sense. So, giving everyone a golden egg would cause an insane amount of inflation in the town, and it just wouldn't be really
Yeah,
good economically.
yeah, that is very true. I
That's
feel
my
like it
only other
was
problem.
yeah, an entirely another problem. Other problem that Puss in Boots probably does not understand is he probably does not know much about the economy.
Yeah, that's okay though.
Being
He's a
that he's a
cat.
vigilante, he
He, d-
probably just runs from town to town.
he probably doesn't even know simple math. Man, you know what's crazy? Time has flown by way faster with this episode than it has with any of the Shrek episodes. We're already approaching 25 minutes, and like,
We didn't even. I'm not close to giving numbers yet. Being honest, I still want to talk about it.
I ran out of notes on my page, but if you bring up stuff, I will gladly keep going. I freaking
Oh, I
what was that?
but I want to go back to that egg thing. I feel like it was mainly to replace all of the money that they lost back
Yes,
then and
that's fair.
like
Yeah.
give like that so they can have their money for their storage and then they can leave if they want because I mean Humpty was never actually going to give them the
Well,
money
of
to
course
begin
not.
with.
Well, he wanted
So
the
like that
town to
was
get
all for
destroyed.
him to rule everyone. So he would have enough. But
Humpty didn't care about the economy,
I feel like Humpty switched up very quick and easily in my mind.
but it was
Like
natural.
it was, and I feel like a part of it was because of fear, because he was like, "Puss can end me right here if I don't agree."
I guess
But at
that's
the
fair.
same time,
I don't know. I felt like it
yes,
was fair because in addition to Humpty convincing Puss to trust him, it was also it was a two-way road because then it was Humpty then realizing that his brother always cared about him, and it wasn't just that he was leaving him for the city. He was leaving him because Humpty's bad for himself. He was a bad guy. He was trying to do what's best for Humpty and himself.
I also very, very, very much. I'm jumping right to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Whenever Humpty fell and he cracked and he was a completely golden egg, and then Puss looks down on him, he's like, "I always knew," or
He
something like
wasn't
that. I
dead
always knew
though.
there
Did
was a
you watch
good.
the credits?
I did not entirely finish the credits.
How dare
I
you?
didn't think.
How
I
dare
know. I didn't think
you?
about that.
No, he
I
was
was so
alive and
focused.
wearing his golden garb, and he was riding on the
Okay, good,
terror.
good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's shame on
he
me. I
tricked
didn't even
him.
think of that could happen. I'm so used to that being only Marvel. I should check.
Yeah.
That's the one time I don't check.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's frustrating. But
It's okay. I forgive you.
yeah, but I like whenever he cracked and he became like an entirely golden
Yeah,
egg.
that was cool. It was a great idea. I like
Oh, I
I like how
also
they made a focus on the fact that he is a huevos because he said that everything was sticking and he needed baby powder. I was like, I did not need that picture. I did not need that picture in my head.
well, I got that whenever Kitty Softpaw said you're
Oh
not wearing underwear, and
yeah.
he's like, "You have a problem with that?"
I'm like, oh, and he was like, I'm not uncomfortable at all.
Yeah,
That I think that was the moment where I was like, yep, Zach Galifianakis was perfect for this role. He fits it.
but I
This was
also
made for him.
really like how. Do you remember the one scam him and Puss pulled where like Humpty got hit by a cart, hit
Yeah,
by a cart?
yeah. He was like
Yeah,
egg
and
break.
I like how they put a scrambled egg on the
Yeah,
side
it
of
was
his head.
good. Also, a little detail: whenever he stabbed his finger, it was yolk. Whenever it came
Yolk.
out, I like that. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I thought that was too.
Man, I still can't get over the fact that they had like a shaving scene, and not like once but twice. It was just like that takes effort. I feel. I don't know. Maybe I'm coming from an idea of someone who only hand animates things and doesn't do anything with like CG characters. So I guess it might be easier than I am picturing it as. But like in my head, that's like incredibly difficult to do.
Like it's definitely incredibly difficult. Don't get me wrong. Give me 25 minutes and I can probably do it. But
Oh, that's
like,
fair. Yeah, yeah. Skylar's a pro animator, actually.
yeah.
Skylar, guess what?
What?
So I didn't talk about it much because I didn't have much of a goal with it at the last episode. But I made a dome animation. Like I'm working on. So you know the science center and how they have like a big old
Yeah.
dome and they have like a big presentation thing. Robert Morris has one too, but it's a lot smaller and like inflatable. And
Yeah.
so my goal in one of my classes was to make something. This is not Puss in Bits related. It's just something I'm excited about. I was like, I really freaking want to make something on this dome, and it's upsetting because I can't post it to YouTube because whatever, lame. But I made a
It would look
test.
weird.
It would just look weird. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I made a 4 second test and put it on the dome, and my god, that shit looks sick. I
Actually.
Yeah, I'm really excited to continue working on that project because like once it's done, probably gonna be one of my crowning achievements because it's like an entire immersive space, and it literally will be space. It's gonna be so cool. I'm excited to show everyone. Just once though, because then it will literally never be able to be shown again.
Unless it's just that good they replay it every year at the dome.
Hey, maybe they like sell it to someone. That would be pretty cool. I'd be down for that.
Ooh, what is it? I'm trying to think
Puss in
of
Boots.
another. I like how even as a kid, Puss was just adapt with like a sword
Yeah, he just
fighting. Whenever he beat up the kid with a spoon.
yeah, it was good. I like that.
Yeah.
I also really like the scene with him and Kitty. It felt that scene alone. Oh, sorry, got to give more context because they were
Yeah, there's a
alone.
lot of scenes.
Yeah, whenever they're riding on the wagon and they're talking about how Kitty doesn't have any claws anymore, I felt
Oh,
like
yeah.
that was the most natural transition into the next movie, and I really appreciated that. It was just like this was this was Puss being vulnerable for a moment, and that's when, like connecting back to the I think it was the tree moment in the next movie where she was talking and saying like something about the legend and stuff like that. That was one of the moments where he was not the legend for like a split second, and I really enjoyed that. It was good.
I also enjoyed the like another scene that's like not quite like that one, but like I think it's similar.
Hmm.
Is whenever they're like coming down from the clouds
Oh yeah,
and him and Kitty Softpaws are like side
he
by
pulls
side,
her
like looking
together.
at each other, and
I mean, she pulls
Humpty has the goose
my
or
the
the baby
homie.
goose.
I
Yeah.
love the little like glisten that the mother goose and the little baby goose had, like of gold. I thought it was a really good touch animation wise. But yes, I do agree with you because I thought it was really cute whenever she pushed down on the thing and he slid in, and I was like, oh, look at that, they're adorable.
Yeah. I also like how like Kitty Sawpaws is going down, and then Puss just comes in and destroys it. He goes, "Oops," and then, like they just do it again.
Yeah, and then the shot of them falling, it was just good. I liked it. Man,
Um,
like frick. This is like one of
did you
those.
see? Oh, sorry. I'm
No,
so
you're good.
sorry.
You're good. You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
Um, another scene that like made me go like to about Humpty was whenever
He gave him the glare,
yeah, I gave Kitty Softpaws the glare.
bombastic side eye.
Yeah, that was the part that sold me that Kitty wasn't with Humpty,
You
actually.
didn't think that, really? I thought that
Whenever
moment
he
was like,
because it
oh,
looked like he
both of
gave him
them are
like an
bad
evil
guys.
it looked like an evil glare, like, "Stay away from
Yeah.
my friend," in my
Oh,
mind.
okay.
So that's why I was like, they're not working together.
We read that very differently. I read that as him glaring at her for getting too close to Puss because they needed to stay on task. That's
Oh,
what my head definitely put that together.
that makes a lot of sense, like, looking back on
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
but, like, in the moment, they were getting so close, and it looked like
Hmm.
Humpty was getting jealous
That's
that he
fair.
brought back his friend,
Did you
and
remember
she
the
kept thinking
twist from the last time you watched the movie? Did you know that Humpty was bad?
no, I
Okay.
forgot. I forgot, like, everything about this movie.
Okay, that's super. That was like one of the only things I remembered was that Humpty was a bad guy. So maybe that's the reason why we
Yeah,
had
I
two different
assumed, but like,
interpretations
I
of the
didn't
scene.
get it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think
Yeah.
that actually makes a lot of sense. That's pretty cool. Damn it, I wish I
Yeah,
could watch
so,
this movie
like,
without having
that
prior
one, and
knowledge.
then whenever, it happened again, like, at the camp that they made at the bottom.
Hmm.
Like, it looked like Kitty and, Puss were getting too close, and Humpty got jealous and butted
Right.
in
Okay.
front of him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
No, I
then
know what you're
Kitty
talking about
got,
now.
like and then Kitty was like, "This is ridiculous," and then just went off. But now that you're saying it's because she's getting too close, it makes a lot of sense why she just walked away.
Yeah, because it was like, oh, I don't wanna
Yeah,
risk
I don't
the
wanna mess up the
operation.
plan. Yeah, that actually
Man,
ooh.
this movie was
That's
really
funny how
good.
we read it twice. We both read it different ways, and it was still, like, a giant twist, I
I
guess.
I feel like, well,
Like
okay, here's the thing. I wasn't like obscenely shocked, but I did feel as though it was, even though I had prior knowledge of it, it was still very well done. I
it was.
liked it. I still am shocked that no one talks about this movie. Like, I went back and looked at reviews and all of them were good. So it's not like anyone was shocked that this movie was, well, I guess we were because we forgot about it. But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I
Nobody
was
talks about it.
I was really shocked whenever I heard that there was a second Puss in Boots coming out because I was like, oh, they're making a sequel to that.
Well, I was hyped. I
Oh,
was hyped.
well, yeah, obviously, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just did. There was something about it that I was like, oh, this is interesting. And then I heard that the reviews were like through the roof, and I was like, crazy, cool. All right, we're actually over the usual time limit that we put for the movies, and that's completely okay because it's Puss in Boots. But do you
Yeah.
have any last things you want to say before we run into the time the number?
I don't know how this movie isn't talked about as much as, like, the original
I
Shrek,
agree, man. I
at
agree.
least.
I think this movie is. I think this movie clears like almost every points of the Shrek movie.
I would agree.
I do agree that at points I did get Shrek 2 vibes from this movie, but I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's one of
No, no.
those
I don't think
that's
it's
going to
perfect.
go down in time as one of the greatest animated movies of all time. I do think it is worth the watch, especially if you really enjoy the second Puss in Boots
100%
movie.
worth
Yeah, without a
I think
doubt.
it's worth the watch even if, like if you enjoy the second Puss in Boots movie, you should watch the first,
Yes.
but even if you don't plan, I think you should still watch them both. I still think it's worth the watch for everyone. Even if you're not, like, a big Puss in Boots fan, watch the movies and you genuinely might become one.
Yeah, you probably will like it. I think it's a good time. I really really enjoyed it. I had a number about halfway through the movie, and when the movie ended, I was like, yeah, that's probably fair. I feel like you might be going a little higher than I did though. I don't
Maybe.
know. I would like to hear your number.
I'm at, like, an 8.5.
Okay, that's
This movie's fantastic.
technically you were higher than me, but we are a lot closer than I was expecting. I thought you were going to give it a 9. I gave it an 8. I think that's a pretty solid number, at least in my opinion.
Yeah,
I
because
think
I
it's a
feel like there's a notable difference between the first one and the second one,
So
and the second one's a lot better.
yes.
But I feel like it's not that far behind. And I think I gave Shrek an 8. I think I gave the two good Shreks,
Yeah.
not Shrek 2. Like 1 and 4. I think I gave them an 8 or a 7.5. And I feel as though this movie is
You got any games on your phone?
shitty. Yeah. And I feel as though this movie is a noticeable,
Wait, sorry.
noticeably better than
You
those
got
ones.
any games on your phone?
Yeah, that one's better. Yeah.
Sorry, I took a lot of pictures of G's cats over the weekend.
You're
Man,
funny,
there's a bunch of
but
football stuff that happened.
there's a lot of football stuff that happened.
Yeah, the Jags went crazy. Let's
Yeah, they
go,
did.
my
They
guys.
almost lost to a rookie though. I started getting scared.
Yeah, I know, right? In the
AR-15,
third,
he
I was
looked.
like, ooh.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson looked really bad in preseason, and he came out and he was insane.
The Colts weren't doing all that good
and
at the beginning though. They were looking like the Steelers early game because they got sacked
the
pretty
other game
early.
was awful.
I
I regret going to that game. That game was awful.
Yeah,
It was
man.
genuinely a waste of time. Like
Oh
I went and
shit.
I tailgated before, um, and then I got into the stadium and Kenny Pickett genuinely looked drunk,
Dude,
like throwing the ball.
I
It was
know.
bad.
He got sacked twice in the first quarter, right?
It's not like the sack doesn't even matter. All of his throws were so far off that
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the receivers running the wrong routes or Kenny Pickett throwing the ball in the wrong place.
Oh jeez.
Like, do you know how bad it has to be for me to not know? Like, you can tell
You're
if
the
he's
football
like
guy.
does a wrong route. You can tell they do a wrong route because they'll be
Yeah.
like waiting on a jump and then they'll go and the receiver won't. But this one, they're running two completely different directions.
That's so fair. Speaking
No.
of bad quarterbacks, dude, the Pitt game. Frick, who's the new QB for Pitt? He was just transferred in. He sucked. He was actually butt cheeks during the entire game. Every single toss he threw it like 2 or 3 feet behind the runner. I was like, oh my god, this is so embarrassing.
That's like not always bad because sometimes you want them to have like the behind leverage on the
Yeah, I know
receiver,
that,
but
but he
not
jumped
on
it with
go
like that
routes.
like several times and it still went past their hands. Like, what is the point?
Was it? I don't know if you saw, but Penn State's QB, their new one, he's a sophomore. It's Drew Aller.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good, actually. He looks really good.
Actually,
Yeah,
like NFL level, you think?
yeah. Like I think he'll be good in the NFL.
That's good.
Like I mean, obviously it's too early to tell. He's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
But he went in and he was playing WVU, so it wasn't like
Yeah.
a great team either. But he looked very comfortable with like a ton of pressure, and he was very
Oh, that's good.
aware of like he had a good pocket presence, and like he might. I'm pretty sure he had zip. It's been a while since I've watched it,
Yeah.
but he definitely outplayed WVU. It made him look bad, but oh my gosh, did you see the Dolphins game?
I did not see the Dolphins game. What happened?
Tua, their quarterback,
Yeah.
the lefty who was basically concussed,
The
threw
goat.
for 466 yards. Tyreek Hill had, I think, he was over 100.
Yeah, maybe I should start watching the Dolphins.
Tyreek Hill genuinely might be that guy. Well, like he's definitely Tua he was 28 for 45 with 466 yards and 3 touchdowns. He threw a pick, but
Man, I gotta see this.
500
statistic.
yards doesn't really matter that much.
I gotta find this one statistic I saw yesterday. Oh, it's gone.
I gotta find Tyreek. Tyreek had I was wrong. Tyreek Hill had 11 catches for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill had more yards than Kenny Pickett. I'm pretty sure.
Let's go.
There was a statistic that obviously there's a ton of pictures that you see from that game. I cannot talk about how bad that game was. Genuinely, I went in and I thought it was gonna be close.
I thought it was gonna be close.
It's gonna be like a scrappy game. Like it's gonna be like within a field goal.
Yeah.
It was 40-7. It was awful. I was mad.
I actually had high expectations for the Steelers. G wanted to put on that game because she likes, obviously being from Pittsburgh, she's a Steelers fan. And I actually, so I didn't watch the first, I'd say, I don't know, first quarter and a half because I fell asleep. But
bro, I could have.
But I don't know, man. I was expecting it to be a good game. Steelers were supposed to look good this year, but nah.
Yeah. Kenny Pickett was the MVP of preseason.
That's
he was dotting. He was really accurate. Had a lot of zip, and just none of that was there. Just everything that he had in preseason is just gone. I don't know if it's because he was now playing starters and he was like used to
I think
playing
that's
second.
probably
Like,
what it was. That's what I was talking to my mom this morning about.
maybe, but I feel like he's still playing his own team's defense in
Yeah.
practice. He's playing against the first team defense,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
TJ Watt had 3 sacks
The guy
and
was
two
goated.
strip sacks.
Yeah.
So like he's obviously pretty good. So like,
Yeah.
and I
No,
mean
no, no notes
Minka
on
is still
him. He
back
did
there as a
great.
safety. Yeah, TJ was insane. He was
Yeah,
the
no
only one who
notes.
looked alive on defense. Genuinely the only
True.
one. Patrick Peterson was like genuinely I could hold up a piece of toast and a picture of Patrick Peterson and you can't tell the difference. Patrick Peterson got absolutely torched by Brandon Ayuk. Brandon
Dude.
Ayuk had like 129 yards, 2 touchdowns.
So
Bro,
so
how do you
one
let
thing
that happen?
I know that's what I'm saying, man. I was getting really excited, so I didn't actually end up watching the Jags game, but I did watch the highlights and seeing my boy Trevor run again, that made me so happy. I feel like he hasn't done that much, like at least last season since college, and he got like 14 yards on one of those plays, and I was like, oh my god, I feel so happy watching him go and do this shit again. I then texted my mom and I was like, Mother, can I please have a Trevor Lawrence jersey for Christmas?
Yes.
Super
How
valid.
how do you how do you like Calvin Ridley?
Dude, he's so fast. Dude, there's that one toss in the second quarter where there was like two guys on him and it literally slotted between both of them and he just nailed it and just kept going and I was like, the guy is goated.
Did you see the one picture, the one video of Etienne not only catching up to Calvin Ridley, passing Calvin Ridley, blocking someone so then Calvin Ridley can keep
Yeah, yeah,
going?
yeah. Oh my god, that was so. We should have put that game on instead of the Steelers game. It was.
Yeah. You could have seen AR-15. He
Yeah.
looks really good,
Oh my god,
which
man.
is nice.
I'm excited.
Um, I don't know if you got to see it. It was the late night game on
I definitely didn't
yesterday.
see it then.
It was the Cowboys and the Giants.
I've heard
The
about it.
the Cowboys defense was absolutely insane. It was the greatest
Really,
defensive performance I've ever watched.
really.
Like, yeah. Hold on, I'll just read you the stats.
All right, go
First of
ahead.
all, the score was 40-0. So, Daniel Jones did not score once,
Oh
which
jeez.
he isn't awful. He's
Yeah,
not great, but he's not that bad.
yeah. It just
But
was that the Cowboys played that
uh,
good, I guess. Tonight's supposed to be a good game too,
yeah.
isn't it?
Well, not the Cowboys played that good. The Cowboys defense played
Yes.
that good
Okay.
because hold on. It was insane. If you play fantasy, most
I do not.
defenses get around like I'd say like anywhere from like 5 to 10 points, and
Mhm.
the Cowboys defense got 45.
Ooh.
So yeah, um, I'll just read you what they did. The score is 40-0, and in week one they allowed 0 points. They blocked a field goal. They had 2 interceptions. They got a fumble. They blocked a regular PAT. They got 7 sacks. They got a pick six, and they allowed only 100, like between 100 and 200 yards the entire game. It was
That's insane.
genuinely. I feel bad for Danny Dimes.
That's so insane.
Nobody deserves what happened in that. There's never been a game. It's like rare for a pick six to happen
Yeah.
and a blocked field goal and to get sacked 7 times. Like it's
Homie
never
just couldn't
happened
compete, I guess.
between all. It's never happened between all teams in a season, and it happened to Danny Dimes all last night.
That poor
This
guy.
it was 7-0 sacks.
Oh my
Like
god.
the Giants did get 1 sack,
Oh my
and
god.
the Cowboys got 7.
Oh my god.
Genuinely, I was like,
That's
"Oh my
hilarious.
goodness."
That's so
Yes, the
good.
Cowboys team put up 14 points on defense. Because they blocked the one field goal for a touchdown, by the way.
Of course.
They
Of
returned
course
it.
they did. Of course, really, of course they did.
Yeah, he
I'm not
literally went
shocked.
straight through, blocked it, somebody else ran through, picked it up the entire way.
Wow, that's
It was
wild.
insane. Yeah. I thought that game was going to be like relatively
Fine.
close.
Yeah.
I was so wrong. So wrong.
This weekend was a great weekend for football. Who's
I
playing
want to talk
tonight?
about
Chandler told me it was going to be a good
tonight
team.
is the Bills and the Jets. I think the Jets are going to win.
Probably. Yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers' first game as a QB on the
Yeah.
Jets, right?
Aaron Rodgers versus Josh Allen, but Aaron Rodgers has Garrett Wilson, who I think is insane,
Yeah.
and then Stephon Diggs is going against
Yeah,
Sauce
yeah.
Gardner, who I think is the second best cornerback in the league, and
That's
he's like
fair.
21. Yeah, man, he's pretty quick, and he's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like he's held a lot of notable receivers to like 2 catches and like 10 yards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Scott, I just
like
want to say, are you impressed with me for knowing my football talk? This is like
man,
this is way better than
man,
like 2 years
this
ago.
is way better than it was before.
I
Yeah.
know, right? I'm getting better. Well, it's because
Um,
games are getting more interesting, in my opinion. I don't know.
was it? I don't know if you saw the Broncos lost
Yeah, I
17
did.
to 16.
Yeah, because of two
Um,
punts, not punts, sorry, kicks.
two missed field goals
That
by
sucks, man.
our kicker that we traded for. Yeah, he missed a PAT, which would have tied it, and then a field goal, which would have won it.
And Skylar
So
is pissed.
I am
Well,
because
how many?
Rustin
Well,
actually
obviously
played
I know
bad.
what the point was, but how far was the field goal?
I don't know. I'm unable to watch them since we're in Pittsburgh.
Wait, why? Couldn't
So
you
like,
just watch it on like a streaming service?
so one of the only I don't have Hulu
Hmm.
Live Sports, which
Okay.
is like $80 a month,
Yeah.
and I also don't have YouTube TV, which is $90 a month. I
Yeah.
have Peacock, which is $5 a month, and I have the student discount, which makes it like 3.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
have that, so I got to watch some of the games, but I don't know how far those kicks were. But I mean, he definitely should have made them. They definitely weren't that far,
Yeah,
or
of
else
course.
people wouldn't be mad about it. But I mean, there's no excuse for missing a PAT.
Yeah, that's just
Like that,
facts.
yeah.
It's just you
But
can't.
Russ didn't play good. He's threw a ton of dump offs, which doesn't help. Like, how do you have 27 completions and don't have 200 yards?
Yeah.
Like, you just aren't throwing the ball forward. You're throwing it exactly horizontal. There's catching them. Little dump offs that aren't doing anything.
Just lame.
But
Damn it! I had something to say. Oh yeah, my pap is really happy that Thursday Night Football isn't locked on Amazon anymore because he was getting really pissed last year that he could never watch the games because he was
yeah.
refusing to go on a streaming service to put it on. But that's good. I'm happy that
I mean, I don't hate that it was on Amazon because, like, it was. I mean, pretty much everyone has Amazon Prime, so
Yeah.
like at least one person has Amazon Prime.
Yeah, but it
So like,
like
is there
gatekeeps all
ease
the old
to watch?
people.
But it did gatekeep everything.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I mean, it's good that they didn't, and I think it might have actually lost Amazon money. So I think that's
definitely
what they
did.
are.
It definitely
Yeah,
did.
because people are just like, I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any other football information before we go on to news? I don't have much news this week, so.
I lost in fantasy because I benched all my really good players. Oh, I benched I
Dude,
put
you
all my
always
really
lose in
good players
fantasy.
in.
You are so unlucky. I feel as though you
Like
always
my
make very educated decisions. It's just you're the unluckiest person in the league.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So Mac Jones unexpectedly played like a god against the Eagles defense, which is really good, and he threw for 300 yards. Whenever I thought he was only gonna get like 10 fantasy points, he ended up getting 25. So I didn't play him. Um, I was like, who's a really good start is Zach Charbonnet. It's like he's like a back. He's like one of the backups for the Seahawks. I was like, I think he's gonna get a lot of touches. He got 2, and he barely played. I benched Michael Pittman because I was like, oh, Anthony Richardson's not gonna be able to throw the ball that far. He's not that accurate. He's gonna run a lot. He got 25. He got like 15 points. Benched him, and then Nico Collins, another receiver for a rookie who struggled throwing the ball in preseason, benched him. Another 15 points. And I started a tight end who got 0 points because he dropped the ball 2 times. The only times he got it. I then also had who was it? Jackson Smith and Jigba, who I thought was going to get a lot of targets and a lot of catches for the Seahawks, only got 3 of them. So you can see a trend here.
On a happy note, I pulled Merge Zamasu this morning, and I didn't even spend any real world money on it. I'm quite happy about that.
Yeah, but if you just spent real world money, you'd be able to save up not real world money to save up for the next part.
Yes, but last year I spent way too much real world money on Dokkan, and I just can't do that again. Well, I can. I don't want to. Speaking of,
That's fair.
I'm awakening him at the moment. That's the reason why I brought it up. Okay, do you want to talk about news?
Yeah,
I
you
feel
can go.
like
I don't really got much. Mine was basically NFL news.
yeah, it's fair. I had a fun time talking about it this time too. I really only have three things. Two of them are anime related. So Stray is being adapted into a movie from the directors of Ice Age, and it's going to be made by Blue 12 Studio, which is also the people who animated Ice Age. So if you're interested in that, then that's going to be pretty hype. I started streaming that. Eventually, I will finish it, but I don't know when that will be. um, Another thing. So, do you know My Hero Academia Vigilantes, the
Yes.
spinoff that takes place 7 years before the actual show? It's
Yeah, I did.
finally getting an anime. Finally.
Oh, I think I did see that
Yeah,
actually.
I'm really hyped about that because I think Vigilantes is really good. To my knowledge, you've never read it, right?
No.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I say just don't and just wait for the show because I actually think it's quite good. And I'm gonna pull up this other bit. So you sent me
I
something a
remember you
little.
talking about it.
Yeah, I know, dude. It was in. I guess it must have been in works for a while because I saw a leak say that they started working on it like 2 years ago. Um, you sent me the thing about Dragon Ball, and I know something about it. So Dragon Ball is indeed coming back, but yeah, I know it's pretty hype. It's really hype. We got to just start doing weekly reviews for that. Um,
Oh, we had to do Jujutsu
I
Kaisen.
know I was gonna get to that. Um, they said they're purposefully waiting to release Dragon Ball until after Wano ends because they didn't want because they knew that Dragon Ball was going to take hype away from One Piece because Dragon Ball
Owns
yeah,
all
it's
anime.
just like the most popular anime there is and it's like not even close. Sorry, One Piece. I love One Piece. I think I might like One Piece more
I
than
fairly
Dragon Ball.
enjoy
I don't
One
know.
Piece too, but I mean, Dragon Ball is always near and dear.
Yeah, it's the first one. It's
But
the best
how
one.
do you see this guy and you aren't like, oh my god, that shit is peak?
Dude, I don't even
Like,
have
you
him.
know?
I don't have him. I don't even want him, man. That's a lie. I
Really?
want him for the animations. The animations are so fire.
Yeah,
But
they are fire.
yeah.
Oh my goodness. Talking about his animations. Um, that there's a voice line with Vegeta that says, "What's wrong? Can you not keep up with my speed?" And I think that is the coolest shit that they've ever done. I don't know why. I
That's
always feel the
hype.
need to talk about it. Like he actually looks at you and goes, "What's wrong? Can you not keep up with my speed?" And
Wait, is
like
this in
even like
Dokkan?
mocks them. Oh yes, it's in Dokkan.
That's hype. With that card?
Oh yes.
Oh, damn it, man. I want that card really
Oh,
badly.
oh, it's so cool. I always play that animation because I need to hear it.
Sorry, I'm answering a text at the moment. Yeah, but that's all of my news if you want to start talking about things that you watched. I'm excited for Dragon Ball to come back. And apparently, they've been working on it since before Superhero. So, like, they've just been keeping it on hold until Wano ended.
Okay, that's fine with me.
Yeah,
As long as there was some type of plan.
there was a plan.
As long as the show is returning. So my dearest game can keep continuing and my joy can keep continuing.
No, it's more like my
That's all
Stockholm
that matters.
syndrome, man. Like I feel like if Dokkan shut down right now, I think I'd just break. I just
Me
wouldn't
too.
get it.
I wouldn't know what to do.
I've
Yeah.
put too much time and effort into this game, and definitely the most important one is money. Like it's just
That's
I
the
don't know
perfect
what I
one.
would
Actually, I
do.
dare say the most important one's time.
No money. I've wasted so much money on Dokkan. It is
We've
insane.
wasted like not wasted. We've been on here for like 8 years.
Yeah,
Think about
yeah.
that. That's a lot of time.
It is pretty insane. It really is.
um,
Fuck, man.
was it? Yeah, but yeah, I can get into what I've been watching. So
Okay.
I haven't been watching too much. Pretty much like what we need. I've been pretty stuck with doing like work a lot just
Hmm.
because like my master's classes are 8 weeks, so it's like
Yeah.
some work, and then I've like had to get stuff ready. I have tests coming up, so I've been doing a lot of like prep for that. But I have restarted. Well, I'm rewatching regular show again while I do homework, and I'm already on season 2. And
Hell
oh
yeah.
my gosh, regular show is just so good. It's just fantastic. And then
Yeah.
obviously been watching Jujutsu Kaisen, keeping up with that. Um, it is very good.
It's so good.
Yes. And then so I had Kyle and Kristen came over not too long ago. I think it was Saturday. And they were talking about a little movie called Sausage Party, and me and Kyle have never seen it.
Dude. Ugh.
So we watched like a quarter of it, and it was just nothing but like
It's not
raunchy humor.
good.
No. Um,
Did you guys want to turn
and
it off, or did you guys like get distracted?
it was late, and I was going to bed.
Oh, that's fair. I don't know if
Yes,
this is controversial or not because I do hear people talk about that movie all the time, but I am not a fan
that's understandable.
personally.
I could definitely see that. I mean, I didn't really get far, but
Fair.
I didn't think it was that
Spoiler
funny.
alert: there's a big sex scene at the end of the movie, and it's just
I
really
figured.
uncomfortable.
I'm not surprised, but
Yeah,
um, there's definitely something else that I've been watching. I really haven't touched The Boys in a little bit, just because
fair.
like hard for me to sit down for an hour
Uh-huh.
and not have that time. There's
Yeah,
just a lot going on at
I haven't played
the
any
moment.
video games for exactly that reason, just because I've been so focused on doing
I got to play a little bit
projects.
of Arceus whenever Kyle
That's
and
hype.
Kristen and were over because those two, and then Lily were playing Mario Kart on the Wii,
Hmm.
and I'm like, so I basically play the Switch one a ton.
I'm
So I'm
drunk.
very used to that, and I'm very, very, very bad at
Yeah,
the Wii. And I was just not feeling like I was drinking a little bit, and I was like,
yeah,
I'm not feeling this right now.
that's fair.
And I was like, I'm just gonna play some Arceus. So I sat down beside them and I played Arceus,
That's
and
fantastic.
I
We
had
love to
fun.
see that.
And I got to watch them. I cheered for Kyle, booed Lily,
Yeah, of course,
booed
the huge,
Kristen.
the huge.
Yeah.
Gotta beat down the redheads.
X.
Um,
They both suck.
as for things I watched, I think you might get excited by one of them. I started Gurren Lagann again because that show is so good, but then I stopped it because I was like, okay, even though I really like the show, I probably should watch something new. So I started season 3 of Demon Slayer, and I am really liking
Mhm.
it. I think it is fantastic. I really enjoyed it so far. What happened last? Tanjiro just burst back into the building with the bird guy, and then he used the bird guy's foot to grab the electric guy, and that's where it
So you
ended.
got to see all the upper rank demons.
Yes, yeah, and the mist
You like their
guys.
designs.
I think there's. I don't know what I think about it. I like them. I think it's really cool, and I like
I
how
like
all of
number
them are
two.
different. Number two,
I really.
is he the guy that has the ball on his head, then turns into 4 different guys?
He number two was the one that. Do you remember? Do you remember? It's Oh my gosh. Who's
There are
number
2
three?
demons there. There's the one in the jar, and then there's the one that's.
Neither. Number two is not there. Number two was whenever you saw them all and they all had the
Yes,
meeting.
yes.
He was the one who kept messing with like Ashura. No.
Oh yeah, the one with the
Yeah, and
colorful
like
eyes.
yeah,
I
and his
like
like
him.
long like hair that like flows like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
like him.
I
He's
love his
cool.
design.
Yeah, and I really
But
like number
I
one
like the
because
guy who you like number one.
yeah,
I do
because
too.
he's
He's
like
cool.
he's one of the I don't know what his deal is, but he looks like
Yeah,
someone who Tanjiro knows, like one of the sun
it looks
users,
like
but he has 6 eyes. It's cool.
and it. So I don't know anything, but my theory is that he is a demon slayer who took up Ashura's bet. He's like, "Do you want to be a demon forever and fight me forever?" And he took him up on it.
Mm,
So that's why he has
right,
a demon slayer sword.
because that and also he had that moment with uh what's his name he was like, you gotta do a thing, and then they were pausing for a second. He was like, please understand what I mean. And I,
Yeah,
I was like, oh, that's cool. So that actually kind of makes me think a little bit. So me and Skylar have never read the manga. So if we guess something correct, then
it's not because we knew.
yeah, it's not because we knew. I think I don't know, man. I think
He's interesting.
he is
I like him.
interesting, and it's making me
But
think.
number two intrigues me so much. He's so
Really,
playful and
yes,
he's
that is
just
true.
dangerously strong.
I just like
Because like
how
obviously
number one, like, gives me the vibe of like an inside man. You know, like he
he gives
he.
me the vibe of somebody who goes in, gets it done, leaves. He doesn't play around.
I agree with that, but I think he's a good guy. I
Mm.
think that's the vibe I'm getting. I'm thinking he was like one of the best demon slayers, and he realized, oh, if I want to beat the demons, I got to beat them from the inside.
I think Muzan can read their thoughts.
He's giving me vibes, man. I just don't know what to describe
Yeah.
it.
I think Muzan can read their thoughts because don't you remember the one
Right, yeah.
like it was like lower it was like lower one or It was like the seventh one. He
Yeah.
was like thinking, and he was like, "Oh man, he's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me. He's gonna kill me." Like, I can't believe he's doing this after all I've done. He's like, "What did you just say to me?" He's like, "He knows. He
Yeah,
knows. He
no, you're
knows."
right. Okay.
Yeah. No,
I don't
I
know.
think he can read
Maybe
minds, so
it's
I
like
don't think it's an inside. I
okay,
think
that's
it
fair.
is a
He just
demon slayer who accepted a deal and became a demon.
he just seems so sus. Like there's something about him just gives me really sus vibes.
I feel like he wants
Do they? I'm not
all
gonna
the
ask
other
that
ones to
question.
know. Hmm?
I was gonna ask a question, but I haven't. I'm gonna wait till I finish season 3 before I ask it. So next week,
I thoroughly like the demon that you're watching right now.
the emotions
The
one.
the one who can split.
Yeah, he's
I
cool.
think his split designs are sick.
I do agree with that. I also don't really know how they're gonna beat him at the moment. Them at the moment, because it has something to do with the
I thought that
tongues.
same thing. It's insane.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I like the Mist Hashira. I like how his whole deal
You
is
do.
like learning how to be like the goat. And honestly, whenever you told me like a couple weeks ago, you were like, I didn't like season 3 as much because I didn't like the Hashira all that much. I feel like the Mist is like he's literally a me character for Skylar. Like whenever I was watching it, I was like, I feel like this is a Skylar character. I don't know why.
If I have you mute, are you gonna hear it on the playback?
Yeah, but I could just not watch it.
Okay, then I'll give you a warning.
Should I take out my earbuds?
Yeah, take out just everything and then walk away. And then on the playback, I'll talk and I'll just do this so you can know to come back. So, I actually thoroughly enjoy this season, and the Mist Hashira is one of my favorites. He's still not my favorite. He literally is me. He acts exactly like me, just weird social cues, and then just like goes and gets it done. But his backstory is very, very, very sad, and it made me like him a lot more. I wasn't a giant fan of him in the beginning, but I loved his backstory and like kind of what he was, and it made a lot more sense to me. But I thoroughly enjoy this arc, and I tried to underplay it in order for Zach to not be spoiled by like my hype. I still think season 2 is better, but this one is noticeably better than the first season in my mind. And I do not think it will be changed. And I am going to have him come back to this and then watch it whenever he is done.
That was perfect timing because I was literally just getting down to
Yeah,
sit.
I know. I
That was
know.
great.
Him. Yeah.
You actually are him. Oh wait, there's something I want to do real quick. Like we're gonna do this live. So we're actually getting close to. I'll just go through really quickly. I'll speed run the other stuff I watched, which I think is only actually no two things. So last night me and G watched Sweeney Todd, the Tim Burton musical. Well, it's not
Mm.
Tim Burton didn't make it, and I really liked it. I think if you have an interest in musicals and you have an interest in Johnny Depp, I think you should watch that movie. It's like it's like it's like American Psycho, but like where the guy has a backstory and he's a barber instead of a businessman. So his whole deal is that he's like really pissed off at this guy for a thing, a spoiler thing, and he's like, how I'm gonna get my revenge is just by killing everyone by slitting their throats whenever they come in for a shave, and it's really good. Well, I don't I kept going back and forth on whether or not I genuinely thought it was scary because of my fear of knives or because it was a good like tension thing.
Or yeah.
Because there was this one scene like at the beginning of the movie, like the entire thing is about him getting the judge into his chair, and then it happens like in the first like 30 minutes of the movie, and he's like he keeps swinging the knife like down past his neck, and he keeps talking about how he has to savor the moment, and every time he did that I was like ooh it's gonna ooh. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Me and G
Zach
started.
literally was spooked.
I was spooked. We started watching G started watching the One Piece, the live action
Live
one.
action.
Yeah, and she really enjoys it. This is the first time that she. Every time I ever bring up One Piece and to talk about it extensively, she always is like, yeah. It's like whenever we all do it. It's a thing that we all do. Plus, it's One Piece. The show's really freaking long. I can't expect her to remember all of the shit that
Literally
I'm
every time
telling
I
her.
talk about Scooby-Doo,
Yeah.
I understand. Literally every time. Nobody wants to hear it.
No, I care. In 2 weeks, I'll definitely care.
In 2 weeks, you don't have a choice.
True. Yeah, but she's really enjoying it a lot more than I expected her to, and I'm quite happy about it. Sorry, I'm looking
I
for
think I'm gonna
something.
pick Alien Invaders so you can get the vibe of that one.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking through Jujutsu Kaisen 0 right now because bonk.
Zero, the movie?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so there was a bit where me and G were discussing the show, like sorry, the whenever you know the moment at the end of season 1 whenever the two schools face off against each other.
Yep.
They talk about how Yuta like decimated the entire thing, and we were discussing on whether or not Todo could fight against Yuta, because me and Gia were big theorizing this weekend because we finished the second episode and we were like, all right, we need to rewatch. We need to rewatch the intro like 10 times to try and decipher what was going on. Fantastic intro. Did you watch it?
I did.
It is so good.
It's very good.
I really like that scene where all the domains come in. It is so freaking cool.
I tried not to. I tried just to like watch and not like think about it. So I was like pretty much looking at it without trying to get any spoilers.
Oh no, we went frame by frame with that shit.
I'm not surprised you did.
Yeah, we were.
I did not because I know Jujutsu Kaisen spoilers are always in their intros.
No, but they're not. They're not though.
But it is, but like because I won't know it.
Yeah.
But like and there's like not like a ton.
They're so subtle. They're so subtle in their intros.
But like I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna keep like looking for those scenes.
Yeah.
But I just want it to come naturally to me.
That's fair. I have a theory. I just won't mention it. I have a bunch of theories, but this specific
you
one
can mention a ton of theories.
We've figured out who everyone in we figured out who everyone's domain is in that opening except for one person. And I can't name them because I obviously don't know who they are. But there's a domain where someone goes like this, and there's like a spinning ball above the hands, and we're like no clue. And it's very clearly someone from the school because they have the blue like shirt, no blue or black, whatever. I'm colorblind. And I'm like, that's Megumi. Like in my head, that's 100% Megumi because there's a moment in season 1 where he's about to use a super attack against Sakuna Itadori, and he holds his arms like this, kind of. And I'm like, that's it. But G pointed out that one of the other domains that they show in that opening is already Megumi, because they have the frogs in the background. So, like, that wouldn't make sense that he's twice. But, like, what if they're trying to hint off, like, that he's, like, he's different, he's built different.
His last one was an incomplete domain, though.
Yeah, but he had his hands like this.
He used. Yeah,
and that popped in the intro.
Yeah,
but this is a long ass podcast, but I don't want to stop.
I'm not exactly sure how the domains work, but he might have he might have transitioned from one to the other.
Right.
And like, cause I don't know, I'm not exactly sure how domains work or what hand gestures have with it, but I mean, it still could be his. It could be like oh wait, what if it's Yuji's?
Like Itadori's?
Yeah.
I was thinking that, but if he...
But I feel like he doesn't have enough curse technique. He's just throwing hands.
Yes, I agree with that, but I also have a theory that he has a heavenly pact on him, the same one as Toji.
Yeah, Toji.
So if he wouldn't be able to have a domain in that aspect. And like I think that the curse energy that he only has because of Sakuna. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does.
There's a lot of stuff that's going to happen.
Had it whenever because Toji didn't have curse energy, but he ate the one, so he technically had some.
Yes, he had a little bit.
But and Yuji was able to see them before, but
so did Toji. Toji can see it because he had the heavenly pact.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it would make sense that maybe it's like Sakuna, like Sakuna's technically.
No, it's not. Sakuna's domain was also in that opening.
Yeah.
It's complicated. We don't know.
I still think it might be Megami. I don't know why it's giving me Megami. Like that hand gesture gives me Megami vibes.
Me too. G disagrees. Who did she say? I think she. No, I can't remember who she said it was, but we shook hands and we're like,
Nobara
okay.
would be cool.
No, Bars is also in there. Well, actually, someone who I think is No Bars is in there because there was a hand sign and what looked like nails floating above it. So I was like, okay, that's probably No Bars, but we don't know.
Mhm.
What'd you think of
Did you,
Mekumaru's fight?
bro? He's so sick.
Bro, there were so many homages in that fight. It was awesome. It made me so happy. There was like a little like reference to Evangelion. There was a big reference to Gurren Lagann, which made me
Yeah, that's what
so
I thought.
happy. Yeah, like whenever all the tendrils were flying and it was like destroying his robots like slowly until it was just him. That actually made me giddy seeing that. But and I'm really
Was it-
happy
I
they did that because I didn't like that character in season 1.
I didn't either, and I
Yeah.
really like him now.
Yeah. He's
Was it
complicated.
was it known to us before? Oh, spoilers, by the way.
Big spoilers.
Um, yeah. Was it known to us before that he was the traitor?
No.
Because I don't know how. I knew it. I knew that. I don't know how. Like before that, I was like, Lily, have we seen this before? Like you can literally ask her. I was saying like I know Mekamaru is like this rat.
I,
I'm like, do we know this?
Me and G have been since season 2 has started. We have been frame by framing the entirety of Jujutsu Kaisen, not to my knowledge.
Okay, so I don't know how, but they were going there. I was like, yeah, they're going after Mekamaru. He's the rat. Where's like the new parts of this? Like,
Well,
where,
the
like when's
second
it
they
get
were
new?
going after someone from the other school, I had a feeling it was Mekamaru because, like, he was my least favorite character, so they had to like flesh him out a little bit more. I don't think he's dead, by the
Oh,
way. I don't think he's dead.
I don't think so either.
I think
I don't
I
think so
think the
either.
only time that a character will die is if they're on screen dead, and
Yeah,
sometimes even that isn't enough.
yeah, because Gojo did not die.
True, and also I
If
don't think
Gojo did
Toji's
not
dead.
die, not everybody's dying.
Truth, truth. I don't think
Um,
Mekamaru is dead at all because it happened off screen. I think if he was
yeah.
gonna die, it was gonna be whenever he was inside of Mahito's domain.
So Mahito was kind of cool in
He was
this
sick.
one, although I like the use of the simple domain,
Yeah, dude, that was really cool.
negating everything. And it's like if you use a simple domain, that's how you beat
What's his name?
that's how you beat Gojo because his thing won't activate in the
Yeah,
simple domain.
essentially Miwa is the strongest character in the show. The girl with the sword.
Yes.
Useless Miwa is the strongest character in the show because she can just activate a simple domain always. Unless you're Yuji Itadori and just jump over top of her.
Yeah, Yuji's actually just the
goat.
strongest because he just throws
He
hands
just throws
always.
hands. So that goes back
Yeah.
to my original thing because in season 1, uh, Panda says that Yuta single-handedly beat the entirety of the other school in the competition thing, the competition that happened at the end of season 2. And we are discussing on whether or not Yuta had Rika because if Yuta had Rika, then I would be like, oh yeah, probably he would slap up the entire school, including Toto. But I don't
If
know.
he didn't.
No, well, because I don't know. Okay, here's the thing. I concede that Yuta is a very strong character. He's incredibly strong. He's one of the strongest in the show, apparently. But
Yes,
I
he definitely
don't
is.
think he would no contest Toto. I think it would be at least a little bit of a fight.
It doesn't say that it was no contest.
It does
He just said
actually.
it says no contest.
Well, not no contest. He said he beat them like in seconds. The match started, and then a couple minutes later, it was over. So
That is wild.
I know,
Like,
right?
yeah. I'm imagining he had Rika, and Rika just overpowered Toto right at the
See,
start.
that's what I'm thinking. But like one thing that we discussed was like we've watched the movie a couple times, and obviously they don't touch that in the movie. So like, what if it's in the manga somewhere? But I just looked through the manga, and they don't have that. So
They might be there. It might come like back. Circle
hopefully,
somehow.
I would. That's a fight that I really want to see.
Yuta and Toto.
Yeah, I think that would be such an awesome fight. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, it'd be a page long in the manga. It would just be and then done.
Hopefully not. So we're at almost an hour and 15 minutes. I'm gonna leave you on one thing, and then we can end it there. So in the opening for season 2, there's a scene where Toto grabs a locket and then kisses it. Who do you think is
Jennifer Lawrence.
My theory is that's Isadori.
Oh, that's the one scene I wanted to talk to you about last week. Did you like the ping pong scene?
Oh
Whenever
my
it was like
god,
he can't be
yes!
with Yuji anymore, and he's like,
Yes, man! Dude, I started cackling during that. It was so
"Me too."
good.
Did you see it was 0-5, then it
Yes.
ended up 21-5?
Yes,
Like he's still,
yes. It was so good, man. Oh, dude.
she ruined his day.
She ruined his
He's like,
life.
so my brother and I,
My
Yuji, can take on
brother.
our missions together.
Dude, so good, man.
Just stoic dad.
Who do you think is going to fight first? Gojo obviously stepped into Shibuya, but like I think that
I think it's gonna be the girls with Nobara.
fair. I don't think I think we haven't seen much of it yet, but I think Itadori is going to be held captive by the school because they don't want Sakuna going and fighting there. But obviously
I
he's
feel
going to
like
show
that
up.
might be it too. But I feel like so obviously I do not know, but I feel like Geto is not gonna be in Shibuya. He's going straight to the school because he's like they're not gonna let Itadori there. He's going straight for Itadori.
That's a good
Because
idea
now
because
Gojo is needed in Shibuya
it would be
to
a
save
distraction.
everybody else. Yes,
Yeah.
so Geto is not going to be there, and he's
That's a
going to go
good
get
idea.
Itadori.
That's a really good idea.
Nobody there is strong enough
That's a good
to defeat Geto. Geto
So
wasn't even scared when Mekamaru was like basically beating Mahito. He wasn't
yeah.
scared.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and
that adds
like
to like
uh,
Geto's plan. He has two things that he wants to do. He wants to trap Gojo, and he wants to
which he
make sure
did,
Sakuna is on his side.
which he did.
Almost.
Well, Sakuna's probably not Sakuna's on his side, but he's able to get Itadori, so he's
Yes.
able to start
So
the
that would
second
oh
part. 'Cause
I didn't even
Gojo's
think
gonna trap.
about that. The idea that that Geto wasn't there.
I think
That's a
all of the
good
other ones that
idea.
he has are gonna be there, and like Geto's gonna release like some of his stronger beasts to stay
Yeah.
there, but because I think he won't need them for whenever he goes and gets Itadori.
So
But I think Megami was already there, right?
yes.
Megami's at the Shibuya.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's with Nami.
Is there anybody left at the
Yeah.
school? Who?
Unamaki. He wasn't in the lineup.
Oh, Unu. He might be fighting Geto.
I would think that, but I have another thing. So this is gonna change my theory a little bit because me and G are like biting our fingernails to see Yuta again. Like Yuta wasn't
Yeah.
in any of
Oh
the.
yeah, Yuta wasn't it? Yeah, he wasn't in there either.
He
So he
wasn't in
might
the
be.
intro. He wasn't in the lineup. So I thought that like halfway between this arc, Gojo gets like fully trapped, like unable to fight, and then that's when Yuta comes in to save ass. But I think it would make more sense if they bring Yuta to look over Itadori with like your current theory, you know?
Yeah.
Because
My
like
current theory that Geto isn't in Shibuya and he's going
yeah,
straight for the school to get Itadori.
yeah. I think I'm gonna have to bring that up to G tonight so we can talk about that.
Yeah. All I gotta say is this next episode cannot come fast enough. I thought the last
Dude, I
ones were
know,
really good.
right?
This already tops it in my
Dude,
mind.
this episode was fantastic.
Yeah. I
I
know.
really
That's what I'm
liked
saying. Like
the
I thought
slice of
Gojo's
life bit.
past. I mean, I thought Gojo's
Oh
past. Like the little
yeah,
thing they did before was good.
yeah.
This already blows it away in my mind.
Really interesting. I
I'm
thought
so excited.
Gojo's.
I'm
I'm excited as
don't get
well.
me wrong. I was excited. I was still excited back then. I'm so excited to see what happens now. Like it's unmatched
That's
in
fair.
Jujutsu Kaisen for me.
That's fair.
Like
Jujutsu Kaisen
I
is
have so many
crazy.
theories. Like I think like Inumaki is gonna I think he's gonna end up in Shibuya
Mm,
because like a lot of shit starts going down. And like they're like, we need you there. We need like as many as possible, but they will not send Yuta. That's
right.
my theory. But like, because since you're saying he has to protect him, they will
Right.
not send Yuta
Yeah.
because he's the only
That's
thing
fair.
kind of keeping Yuji locked back.
Until
Geto,
Gojo gets captured.
agreement. I
Oh,
see.
also,
I feel like he will, but I don't know how.
so
I feel like somebody's gonna.
I
Oh my
pinky
god, they're gonna use the
promise you.
simple domain.
I pinky promise you that actually I have a theory about how Gojo gets captured, but it's related to something that's in the intro, so I'm just not gonna say it. I pinky promise you that Gojo is gonna get captured somehow
Yeah.
in this arc. But me and G were discussing how long he's gonna be captured, like how many seasons, and I think he's gonna be captured indefinitely because there's a
He's trying to
thing
get back.
there's a thing in writing called the Superman problem. It's whenever you make a character too strong that they solve all your problems, so you have to write them out. It's why in like most X-Men comics and X-Men movies, Xavier is put on the sideline because he would end all the conflicts basically instantly. So I think that having Gojo being as strong as he is, it only makes sense that they're just going to keep him out of the show for a while.
At the same time, they did just reveal his quote unquote kryptonite,
I
simple
guess, yeah,
domain,
that's true.
which they didn't even think of until Mekamaru did it.
Right.
So not only was Mekamaru giving them intel, he figured out the way how to beat their strongest weapon.
Right. I don't know.
So what I'm thinking is, so they're gonna try and get trapped inside Gojo's domain,
Mhm.
and then use a simple domain in his domain, so it's them stuck,
So that, yeah, so
and then they
he
can
can't
beat
do
him and
anything
capture
about
him.
it because he already used his
Yeah,
trump card.
yeah. He used his trump card, and he like now all of his like defensive his like god tier defensive abilities is gone.
Yeah, because he
So
said in
and it's
season
gonna
one
turn
that
into
whenever
Koji
he's
again.
inside of a domain, even he can get touched.
Yeah. So I think that's how he gets captured, and he's going to be captured there
funny.
for a while. I think Utah will probably have to. Utah's going to step in at some point. I'm going to be excited.
Yeah.
But I feel like the person who frees him is actually going to be Megami.
That makes sense. Sakuna has
Yeah.
an interest with him somehow, and I don't know
Megami?
if it's because of his domain. Because if you remember back in season one, when Sakuna was like, "Oh, you're an interesting man," it was whenever Megami was doing his this stance.
Yeah.
But whenever he did his this stance, it's different. I don't think the domain is the thing that Sakuna is interested in.
I don't think it is either. I think it's just like his like potential and like power that he like hasn't gotten yet, but Sakuna sees.
Well, he's like the
Like
Gojo of the Zenin clan because
yeah.
like he has that power that's like super rare and no one has it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know what he can
That
do.
could be it.
I'm excited.
I don't know either. I don't
I
even think
haven't felt
Megami
like
will.
this since watching One Piece, and I know that's weird because I watched Jujutsu Kaisen season 1 before I watched One Piece, but like the season 2 coming around and watching the movie, it really makes me feel as though this writer is a lot better of a writer than I first gave him or her credit for whenever I watched season 1. So
Yeah, I'm starting to think that too. Like
yeah,
they had, I mean, obviously the manga's known about this for a while, and they just like,
yes,
thankfully they aren't saying anything.
yeah.
But, um,
What a great community, by the way. Like One Piece
yeah,
community is
honestly,
not the same on that. They spoil like crazy. But no, these guys
yeah,
were like, okay, we'll just let the
yeah, they keep
anime
it on
people have fun
wraps. Like
here.
nobody says anything.
Yeah, I've not seen a
I think
single spoiler.
it has to be because like what's coming up is so crazy that they
Yeah,
like, yeah. But I want to know. I want to know what is going to be inside that like that dome that Gojo just walked into.
that's a veil. Like I think that
Yeah,
it's just gonna
the
be a
veil
big
that
fight.
only regular people and Gojo can enter. That's it. Isn't that what they said? It's a veil
Yeah,
that
but
only Gojo and regular people without cursed energy can enter.
true.
Or they said regular people. I don't think they
So
said
is it
without
just
cursed
gonna
energy.
be like a battle royale next episode?
I don't know.
That'd be crazy.
What if they just keep Gojo in there? Be like, the second you leave, I'm killing all these people.
I don't even
And you
know,
can't attack
man.
me in here because there's so many people. So if you attack, they'll all die.
That seems like something we can discuss next week because we're almost at an hour and a half, which is the longest podcast we've ever had. And that's funny because last week was the longest podcast we've ever had. So so we're a little bit long. Do you have any other quarrels that you want to get out really quick? Not Jujutsu Kaisen related. We've gone too
Nope.
far.
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll see you guys next week with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Also, I just realized something. We're always going to be a week behind because we record these a week early. So every Jujutsu Kaisen episode that we talk about is going to be a week behind.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I forgot about that until right now. But that's okay. If you guys have any other movies or TV shows you want us to review in the future, please leave them in the comment section down below. Go over to our Instagram at Mediak Podcast. Go over to Twitter with the same title. Other than that, I'll see you guys next week. All right. Goodbye.
See ya.